Hey guys, how are you? I hope you guys are doing amazing. Today we are hailing to you guys from different continents and two different regions of the world. Here we have four of the amazing. Let me add the fourth one. Guys, if you can turn on your cameras, it would be great. Okay, so we have Zad here. He is the main organizer for this event. He is hailing all the way from Nicosia, Cyprus, and he's the lead organizer for the Google developer groups there. On my left side is Zad, and on the right side is Adil. He's going to be our speaker for today's event, and he's going to elaborate the whole world of Google's Kubernetes Engine and how you can get started with this amazing tool and excel your journey in this domain. Furthermore, enabling us in this event are Hassan and Umaima. They are both hailing from Cyprus as well. Hassan is the co-founder for Code Crafters. Also, Umaima is the core team member for the GDG Nicosia, and they both are going to help us in this event. And if there are any queries you guys have for this event, you can ask us in the comment section or drop your question in the post event section after the event has happened. This event is being streamed live on the pages of GDG Nicosia and on the KST Lahore page. Furthermore, the meetup page for this event is also live. You guys can also drop your links and do the networking session afterwards. Now, I will hand over the introduction mic to Zad, and after him, Adil is going to elaborate the whole thing to you that how you can get started with Kubernetes, DevOps, and the cloud computing journey. Off to you, Zad. I'm removing others from the stage.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Moise, for having me and collaborating with us today. Um, I'm Zad. I'm the lead organizer for Google Developer Groups Nicosia. I'm co-founder of Discover Digital as well. Uh, I will do a quick introduction for Google Developer Groups Nicosia for everyone who is joining us for the first time. Uh, GDG is not just a tech community, it's a vibrant ecosystem where innovation, collaboration, and creativity converges to the space, converge to shape the future. GDG is more than just a hub for technical expertise. It's a tight knit community where connections are forged, friendships are formed, and ideas are incubated. We started this community just over a month ago, and we are excited that we got more than 150 followers and members in this past year, in this past month. I'm sorry. About today's event, it is a second one in the series. If you guys have missed the first one, we talked about the roadmap for DevOps engineering. We had Mr. Benjamin joined us, and he talked a lot about DevOps and Docker. Docker Space, if you guys missed that event, please make sure that you watch it after today's event. It was also hosted on our YouTube page. With me, I have today my team, Mr. Maima and Mr. Hassan. They are both co-team members for GDG. And let me forward to Umaima first for their introduction and Mr. Hassan. So, Umaima.
Hello everyone, I'm Umaima. I'm a student in computer science and I'm part of the GDG Nicosia core team.
Hello, my name is Hassan, and I'm a recent graduate of software engineering from Needham University. Throughout my academic journey, I co-founded the Code Crafters group, and I currently serve as an ambassador. Um, I take great pride in my involvement with GDG Nicosia, where I elaborate and collaborate with like-minded individuals to advance our knowledge and expertise in Google technologies. I look forward into today's meeting, and I would love to thank the KCD again for today's inspireful and insightful meeting in advance.
Thank you guys for introduction, and I hope.
Hey everyone, this is Adil Shazad, And I am from Pakistan, and Pakistan is a beautiful country of some mountains like K2 and some beautiful valleys. Check them out on Google. So, yeah.
Okay, guys, we're gonna start the stream in a bit. Thank you, Maima and Hassan, for the introduction, and we are glad you guys are here helping us out. And for sure, we are looking forward to host you guys in the future events as well. And Adil, in about like 2 minutes, we're gonna start the session, and it's 10. Is like in is it 10 minutes here at 12? We're gonna start, and about we have like 8 people watching. So when it hits 10 watchers, we're gonna start the stream. And yeah, okay. Let's just quickly check the comment section. Very nice to meet you. Hey Ramad, how are you? Thank you for thank you. It is nice to meet you as well. We are excited as well, man. Thank you for the comment. Dina, we are excited as well to host this event. We have been preparing for it for quite a while. The animations and presentation alone for this event took about like 3 or 4 days to make, and we have put a lot of effort in preparing them for you guys. So yeah, guys, if you got any questions, you guys can ask in the comment section. We are actively replying to all of them. And let's start. Adil, I'm gonna drop off from the panel, and you can start the stream. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, guys. Adil's gonna start the stream, and I hope you guys have a good time. Yeah, off to you.
Okay. Okay. Let me share my screen. Uh, all right, guys. So this section is very beginner level of like how you can get started with the Google Kubernetes Engine. Uh, in case if you have not you are not familiar with Kubernetes, I will try my best to explain everything about Kubernetes. But in case if I anything miss, we can cover it in the newsletter. We will share it with you later. That will be a blog, and that will share all the details about the Kubernetes and the lab, which we will perform. Like we will create a cluster and do some. We will deploy some basic level applications, which will give you an idea about containerization and orchestration. So let's get started. So my name is Adil Shehzad, and I'm a DevOps consultant, and I'm from Pakistan. As I said, Pakistan is the land of some beautiful mountains like K2, and also some beautiful valleys. Some of them we visited, and we also me and Moise also have Unsplash account. Actually, Unsplash is a photography platform where you can upload some beautiful pictures. So we have like more than 40 or 50K on our some photography we just clicked of some values. We will also share in the blogs if you really guys are interested about it. So we just have a case scenario like to explain you very well. So for example, the Moise has a developer. Sorry, Moise. So Moise just crashed our production, and he don't know about how things are working. So I have a multiple applications and are running, and you can see uh, a lot of the environments are running on the Docker. But to maintain, which is good, but absolutely when it's come to multiple management, you need a containerized orchestration platform. For this, either you go for Docker Swarm, and or you can go for Kubernetes or OpenShift. But right now, at the moment, the best practices of the DevOps is to use Kubernetes. So Docker Swarm is not widely in use, but if you guys are interested, there are a lot of resources on Docker Swarm or OpenShift. But I highly recommend to get yourself expertise on Kubernetes because they are very highly paid jobs are out there. So Moise just just like crash our application. And he just said that developer said that everything was working on my system. Like if your Docker just went down, we don't know why it just went down. It's just normal between a developer and a DevOps. If you are a DevOps engineer, you're familiar with this story. Like the developer say, it's just running on my system. It's just your fault that this is not running, right? So this is now our duty to let's fix or how we can multi-manage the applications. So first of all, before we get started with Docker or Kubernetes or OpenShift, Podman, anything, any Kubernetes engine you say, you before that you have to be sure, you have to be an idea how they are working, the system designing, which is really important, and also about the infrastructure. So I'm just trying to give you some scenario. So this is here you can see what are containers. So containers are like a pack of where you can just combine your application, and this just become an image, and you can just pull the image and you can make a container where your application is running. So you have a hardware. On the hardware you have operating system, and on your operating system different containers are running. And for the virtual machines, the problem is that on the hardware hypervisor, your operating system is running, and your virtual like on the virtual machine, it's very hard to scale up the application, or sometime when you need to scale the size or the memory, uh, your application just went down, and it's very difficult to have a backup, or it just take a lot of time, but it just quickly can be done on the container. Like you can just have an image, you can just pull a new image, you can increase the size, and you can just start the new container, and you just have a zero downtime. Bare metal is a very old technologies, but I really want to mention this one. But usually a lot of people did not mention it. But everything is just packed. But this is not highly used nowadays. Nowadays the containerized is mostly used, and for this AWS have a ECS. Google Cloud have their own services, or mostly Kubernetes services are used. And if you really interested to learn about Kubernetes, I would suggest install a KubeADM on your machine and start doing practices. So why containers are so much important? So first of all, they are very portable. Like you just create, you write a Docker file, or if you are interested with containerd, or you are or if you are familiar with Podman, you write a file, and in the you just create an image, and easily you can pull the image and start a container within seconds. And then it can be easily shareable. Like I said, image, you have an image, you can easily use it anywhere. It doesn't matter. Some of the most famous image registries are Docker Hub. AWS have their own registry. Google Cloud have their own, but Docker Hub is mostly widely in use. But if you are a GitHub lover like me, then GitHub have their own registries, which is mostly free, which you can also use, or you can also use GitLab, which is also have their own registries. So there are a lot of registries platforms, so you can store your image anywhere. From there you can just pull your image easily. And version controlling, which is very important. In Git, might be you guys, a lot of you guys are familiar with Git. So version controlling, where so what is version controlling? Where you create the versions of your applications. So anything, any developer just made the change, it just versioned. So anything just went down or something, you can just have a image tag which work like a version, like v1, v2, v3. And if it's just familiar with git tag, right? For example, if you create a new tag and your application just went down, within seconds you can just switch your tag with the previous one, and your application just went up. So this is what is the benefit of the so version controlling. This is it. So isolation is like they are isolated, so they can be communicated with each other through networking. Calico is very nowadays a very famous tool which is used for the networking. How you can use Docker Compose to manage your multiple container and their networking, but most of the containers are isolated, so you need to connect them. For example, in some scenarios you have application running in a container and you have a separate database running, and you need, of course you need a networking to connect them. So where you also have to be familiar with the networking part. You can monitor your containers. You can do add some alerts. For the Kubernetes, New Relic is the good platform. But if you're really looking for an open source solution, then Prometheus and Grafana are the one you can go with. So monitoring tools you can use, and you can integrate them with the Kubernetes. So anytime, whenever your DevOps engineer is not available, like on weekend, Saturday or Sunday, you can just have Slack or might be Teams, whatever the channel you prefer, or the email. But I usually don't like email. Slack can be a better option. So you can just integrate with them, and you just get a message, your application just went down. Who is just down your application? You just need to, roll it back. So this is how monitoring is really important here. Fast deployment, as I said, so there are multiple types, like blue green is the one deployment type. There's a roll in type. So these blue green deployments help you when you deploy a code to one environment, pre-production, and you have a separate second environment which is also your production environment. You can test on your pre-production and then finally just deploy it to your final production. So there is also like canary deployment, where you only just showcase your website or your application to specific people, like 5% of all the users. So 5% have the visibility of application, and everything goes well, green signal from noise, all good. You can just send 100% traffic to your application. So this is really important, and you get all these features in Kubernetes. And when I said Kubernetes is the part of containerization, and I highly recommend you to explore more about containerized. There's like medium, dev 2, chat gpt might be, whatever you prefer. So I usually prefer chat gpt. You can ask chat gpt, tell me more about containerized. So might be a lot of information we might missed, or we cannot have time to explain everything. So where you can use these resources to explore more about the containerized. So immutable, like when your application containerized is running, they cannot be changed. So like this is good, like on for the production case. You don't want that anything just changed, so it just being a disaster, like any environment just changed, or the null value just replaced. So it just like your application, whole application just went down. So you get the immutable version here. So reusable, yes, of course. Yeah, you can reuse your Docker images, your Docker file anytime, to the new projects or the new application. So we learned something about containerize. Of course, I missed a lot of things, like containerization networking, containerization storage, which I mean persistent storage. Of course, I missed, which you need to learn about if you are really interested in learning containerize. So go ahead. Uh, after you see the developer now have the idea about basic idea about the containerize. Now he just have a multiple applications, multiple application. So where the Docker cannot help you, Docker Swarm can help you, but Docker engine cannot help you. So where you need to use a container orchestrate platform. So I said there are some like best one, you can use Docker Swarm, or you can either use OpenShift, but Kubernetes is most preferable solution. It's very easy to manage. You need to learn about some expertise to host your application, scale up your application, and you can just do in seconds. So and also, just I got to know that OpenShift are also using the Kubernetes on the it's just a better version of Kubernetes, you can say OpenShift. All right. So so Kubernetes is the best thing to learn. So when you learn about the Kubernetes, you also have expertise toward the containerized Docker Swarm, or you also something you have idea about OpenShift. So so we see, I said how we can orchestrate like multiple platforms, multiple applications. So there's a tool Kubernetes, but of course it's not very easy to manage, right? Because for the installation you need to install kubeadm, which need a machine. You need to check the machine security, networking, all of that. Has a beginner, or might be not has a field expert, it is difficult for a lot of people. So what would be the best solution? So the best solution would be to go for Google Kubernetes Engine, which is the control plane is managed by Google, or you get the solution like the node either managed by you, or you can also give it to Google Kubernetes Engine team, or might be I don't know who's behind the team managing the Google Cloud and your code. Uh, so, for example, the pilot will be managed by the Google team. The only nodes will be managed by you. Let me give you a good picture. I just have a diagram I created. I will give you a better picture about it. But before that, why manage Kubernetes? Like now in your mind, you think about what is managed Kubernetes and what is like simple Kubernetes. So it's very easy to create, like within 5 or 10 minutes it just created, dependent on the expertise. But and the load balancer, which usually not included in the kubernetes solutions, but on the Google Kubernetes Engine you have a load balancer. So load balancer is used to manage your traffic, and it just send your traffic where you have not have a lot of load. So and if you have a like a lot of traffic, it just manage your traffic in the very smooth way, so your user doesn't have a experience like your application just went down. So where the load balancer is doing their job, so it just auto upgrade. Otherwise on the kubeadm with kubeadm or your on-prem, if I said on-prem, yeah, on-prem Kubernetes, you need to upgrade it manually. And it is something like you have to add some commands. It can be done, but you need expertise to upgrade. But on the Google Kubernetes Engine, you don't need to upgrade, it just auto upgrade. Yeah, and in case if like any add-ons or uh any just issue, like sometimes have versions issues, as I said. So it just auto repair itself. If in case if the latest version doesn't work, it just roll back to the stable one. So which is that's why it is auto repair. So it just have a logging monitoring. Google have their own, but still you can use New Relic or Prometheus or Grafana. But Google monitoring is also really good. So also there's a security, like your pods should be like in or out. These go through a VPC, which is virtual private cloud, and there's a firewall which prevent no unknown traffic would be inside your cluster. So it's a highly secure. But on the on the other side, like on prem, you need to make it secure. You have expertise to make it secure. Like you have to know about network policies, you have to add the network policies, ingress or ingress. So you have to know to and from all of that. So but here on the Google Kubernetes Engine case, you don't need to know. So how it is work, which is very important. Like I'm being talking from last 15 minutes, and you guys were like, oh, he's just making us bore. So I think let's like just I just made this design, and just try to make easy things for you guys. And uh, a lot of things I said might be you just go over from the head, might be, but this will just clear all the picture. So if you see, this is the Google Kubernetes engine architecture, and I did not create it uh, like I just imagine. No, this is something I get it from the Google official website, but I created it on myself. So make sure that it just align with my presentation. So this is a user, like for example Adil, and it's just using kubectl, which will be used to get the APIs to manage the control plane and the node. All right, and this is a tool. And then you have a control plane which is managed by GCP manage. I written, which is Google Cloud Platform. Google Cloud manage for you, you don't need to manage it. And it just have a multiple replicas like one B and C. So anything like one replica just went down or the main just went down, you have a replicas in B and C anytime up. So your controller have a 24/7 availability. And you have a API server. API server is mainly used to manage your Kubernetes different resources. Let me show you. Let me show you guys. I have a control plane here, and I type K, which stand for kubectl. Mostly for the exams of the Kubernetes, you don't have a lot of time. So from here you can just add your kubectl autocomplete. So it's a create an alias and which kubectl stand for K. So like for example, if you type K, then it's just same as just typing kubectl. So if I just type API resources, if you can see a lot of API resources are here, right? So here is the resources for the node, and all these resources are managed through API server, right? So that's that. This is what I am trying to say, right? Then just coming back, this is a controller. Controller need to control everything about the node and the control plane. If anything just went down, the controller have the duty to see. So control plane work like a captain of your ship, if I can say. Okay, like it's a ship, it's a captain. Captain have the authority, to see everything what's going on the ship, right? So these are like the duties on the ship. Like controller have a duty to see, to check every room, everything is just went, yeah. And the scheduler have a very good duty that everyone loves. So whenever the port schedule or the container schedule, the schedule just find a place where what is the best place for this port, like this node 1 or node 2. Like he need to see the memory, need to see the CPU and all that, and after that scheduler decide, oh, I need to place this port in this node, right? So this is the duty of scheduler. And there's a storage like persistent storage to store container logs, and all the files you want, like in case any port just delete it and your files will be persistent. Because in the container case, when your container just restart or your container just went down, it just don't have a permanent storage, so you need to attach a permanent storage. So Google have a facility which is to be called persistent storage. And you need to attach this storage, so your pods are attached to a storage, and if the pod just restart, you don't need to be worried because your data is stored, right? So this is a node. So you have two options: either you give it to GCP or Google platform that you manage for us. But that's there is a case like you have to pay to Google to manage your nodes. But there's also a second way that you manage your node. So I prefer this one standard because you save a lot of your cost. So GCP have there a lot of services like VPC networking, resistant storage, and load balancer and monitoring. As I already explained all of these, let's go for the hands-on. I hope you guys are ready for it. But meanwhile, I can see the comments. Okay. Okay. If you see my screen, let me see. Is it visible? Yeah. Anyone from team Zed, can you just confirm my this dashboard screen is visible? Google Cloud. I'm not sure. Yes, all right. Okay. Because I don't want like I'm just explaining everything you guys in that say, oh, what he was just trying to explain. So I don't want this. So this I actually I work on Google Cloud. I work with AWS, like I work on AWS, and I work with Microsoft Azure. But to be honest, I love the UI of Google Cloud. The UI is so like you have a isolated projects, like this is just for this lab and I will delete. This is like sandbox. So once the lab will be completed, I just remove this one, right? So these all of these projects are isolated. Their billings are isolated, and if anything you created is to this is just limited to this project. And the UI is so clean. But for the AWS case, or AWS case, if you guys are familiar with AWS or not, I'm not sure. So you need expertise to see, oh, this is the region wise, right? So let me just there's a Kubernetes engine here. If you just like, if you're doing with me, I'm not sure. So there's a Kubernetes engine, and you just
Adit, sorry to interrupt you, but your screen isn't sharing, the terminal one.
that
Can
this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
the the screen on it, the screen was sharing like the stream section, but the terminal wasn't visible.
That's what I was saying, because it's on my incognito, right? So it might not be visible, but I shared my screen again. Can you just reshare?
It's still not visible. Can you switch
Oh,
to the
just
terminal?
it should be now visible because I shared
It's not.
everything, which is
Uh, yeah, it's visible now. We can see
yes,
the
and
Google
it's
console now.
it's a Kinder secret. It's like I shared whole my screen, so I need to be, to
You
be
have, you have to you have to be very precise and very careful from here on.
yes. So no worries at all.
Okay.
So here, if you can see on the Google Cloud, you can see a Kubernetes engine, and you just need to go to the cluster, right? And they will ask you first about, oh wait, you need to enable your APIs. Google really good with this one. Like they manage, you can manage your whole resources with the APIs, and you can through manage through CLI, right? So you need to enable this one. Once you enable it, you are good to go and create the control plane and the nodes. I will go through with the steps. We will create the cluster, because I did this lab before this session. Of course, we have to do practices. Everyone is not perfect. We can do mistakes. Of course, we need to be sure. So once this is done, we can have a question answer session, and then once this Kubernetes cluster is completed, it just take like 5 minutes, and then we will get back uh, to to our lab. So you can see the Kubernetes engine, and you need to go to the cluster. And there's a lot of things are here. I know, for if you're for the first time, it could be difficult, but just if you're following me, everything will be easy. So you just need to click on the create, right? So Google just made some changings to their UI. Before that, when you click on create, it just go to standard, which I need. Other than this is a pilot one. As I already recommend, I don't want to give my control plane or cluster to Google to manage, because it's very expensive, to be honest. So I switched to standard cluster, which is just for me. But there's no difference. Don't need to be worried. It's just like you as a DevOps engineer, if you have expertise with Kubernetes, you can manage it. So I'm just naming it cluster one. This is fine. And this is the zonal, like as I said in my diagram. Let me go back. Like you just have a control plane in different zones, right? But the best practice is to add it to multiple zone, but it doesn't matter. I can just add it to a, and you can also add it to multiple zones, but doesn't require here. So right, fleet registration is to manage your, if you have multiple clusters, you can manage through here. But I think this is out of scope at the moment. Let's go to the node, and in the node you can give the number of nodes. I'm just making it like two. Yeah, like it just created two number of node with the control plane, making it total three. Then you can see the nodes. I just need to give an image. I give you the concepts of in the containerized image is very important. You have everything in your image file, and you can pull anytime. Like ubuntu image, you have ubuntu image, and you have like windows. I'm not sure what they are, but windows should not be there. Windows containers are really slow, to be honest. So I'm just like making it to E2, and I don't know, for this lab we can go with the small one, right? Like small is good. So just making a cost of $117. This is a lot, but if you're converting as per your country, I'm not sure, but for me, living in Pakistan is just a lot. So I'm just making it 20 GB, so it just also save your cost. This is how you can, this is the best thing of Google UI, that I can just drop down my cost. But this is not cannot be done on other platforms like AWS or Amazon or Microsoft Azure. So networking, as I said, networking is very important. The network will be created. If you want to give a specific setter, you can. Other than, you can just skip this settings. There's a security. They will create some service accounts. Service account is used to manage your resources, right? So this is so there's a role cluster roles. And there's a lot to learn about the Kubernetes. To be honest, so once I submit, like it just go to just take some 5 minutes to create the cluster. If I just click here cluster, it just give me a beautiful UI to say it just configured, and after the second step it just deployed, and it just take 5 minutes. I think we can do a question answer session meanwhile. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Are we done with are we done with the hands-on session?
Oh no, I said like just
Okay.
cluster
Okay.
need 5 minutes. Yeah, cluster need
Apologies.
5 minutes. We can just save the time because there's some time limitations are here. So we can do some question answer sessions, and
Okay.
once the cluster is ready, we can again do some hands-on. And if the
Mhm.
guys have more questions, they can just drop in comments and I just get back to them.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So there's one question Aroma has asked, that do we need to do this right now in real time?
If you
Well,
have a Google Cloud platform, you can do other than nobody's just watch how it is working. You can
yeah.
also learn through watch the tutorial.
Yeah, the stream will also be available post event as well, so you can refer to that too. Also, guys, I have shared the form on all our respective platforms to KC Lahore's channels and also to G's Nicosia's channels as well. Fill that form, and within the next 1 week, you guys will receive your premium certificates from our side. So don't forget to do that. And so far, I've got about like 16 responses. And soon as this event ends, the form will be closed. So make sure you have filled this before the live stream has ended. Okay, if you guys have any questions regarding the event so far or regarding DevOps or Kubernetes in general, feel free to drop them here in the comment section. We are open to take questions for next about like 3 minutes since the cluster hasn't been deployed. So yeah.
Can you share my screen, please?
Okay. Yeah, screen's there.
Okay.
Let's see.
So guys, you see 67% of our cluster is ready. Uh, like we need 1 or 2 minutes more. As I said, it's just saying that I need 5 minutes. So,
Mhm.
but I see there are no questions. You guys are so much intelligent.
Yeah, just let me quickly ask the question myself. Can you just tell us in a layman's term that what is exactly happening here? Like in terms of when we say something is being deployed on a cluster, what is actually happening there? Is it something similar to installation, or is it something different from that?
So so as you said, if you're doing it manually, you know,
Yeah.
provisioning Kubernetes cluster on your behalf, you need to setting up your control plane, node, networking, security.
Mhm.
You have to do everything. But at the moment, Google is creating the control plane. Google is setting up the API servers, control plane, scheduler, and storage. And if you set it up in the multiple replicas, and it just have take like more 1 or 2 minutes to set up a replica of control plane in other zone. And in the and also setting up the has a give two nodes, for example, then it just setting up everything on the node. So there's a concept I missed, but also not in the Google diagram, official diagram, which is kubelet. Kubelet is the main who manage your nodes So this is a captain, and this is a overseas, like the second shift overseas, who just tell everything to the control plane. Like if you can say, he just need to tell everything to control plane. If the node code is not working or the containers are down, kubelet need to tell to the control plane. So so the Google Kubernetes engine is setting up the nodes, kubelet, and everything, and also their add-ons like VPC, persistent storage, load balancer, and monitoring. So that's why it's just taking 5 minutes. But this is the automate process has been done
Mm.
on KubeCam.
Okay, awesome.
But this is the
And
next level, right? Of course.
okay. Also, like all of these individual components are separately configurable, right? The ones you
Yes.
explained. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, we do have a couple of questions here, but I'm gonna save them for the last so we can answer them in detail at the end because I think we are at, I guess, 80 or 90% of the deployment.
But we can take
And
one questions.
okay, let's do this one. It's kind of easy. What do you advise us to learn? AWS, Azure, or what? Well,
Okay.
I would say before I answer, I would always say the best platform to learn is KubeCamp. Always start with that. Stick with that is the best thing on the planet right now. Go to kubecamp.kclahore.org. Do that and you will win your premium premium badge. After that, you will be allowed to learn AWS or Azure. Now the
So
professional answer.
let
Yeah.
me let me okay. So this is really a good question, and to be honest, I give the honest answer about it. So to learn about something, I need to look for the job opportunities, how much they have in the market, because this is really important. I'm spending my time on it. I need to, get back my time, like in the money or anything. So as per now, AWS have a lot of more job opportunities in the market. So I highly recommend you can go for AWS. Once you have AWS certification, it's really easier for you, or you have a job, then it's very easier you to switch to Azure or a Google Cloud. But but like for example, in very short, you have to know about the basics about the of the cloud computing. Other than this, the concepts are really same. For example, if I'm saying Google Kubernetes Engine for the EKS, which is AWS platform, the concepts are same. They have the control plane, they have the node, they have the API servers, controllers, scheduler, storage, they have the kubelet. So and they are being managed, control plane is being managed by AWS, and you have an option also there to either AWS manage your nodes or you can manage it. So so the best platform to get started is AWS. Yeah.
Awesome. That's nice. Also, guys, I'm looking at the form right now. We have got about 29 responses so far.
So
Please,
cluster is up, and Rumal asked a good question that, so the main function is of the kubelet is to manage the nodes. Yes, the main function of the kubelet is to manage the nodes, not only the node but the resources of the node like pod, deployments, and all that. And in case if anything just went down, it just need to tell to the control plane, and control plane can show it to the user that your node have some issues, here in this pod have some issues. So this is the duty of kubelet. Okay, I hope I answered to your question, but in the hands-on I can give you more in detail. So if you see, the connect option is here. You can run in the cloud shell. Of course, I prefer cloud shell. I just Okay, I need to click on continue. So it just provisions some storage or cloud shell machine on its side. And it just did not cost you, it's just totally free. It just take like 1 or 2 minutes. And then it just setting up the cloud shell for you. And it just give you a like autocomplete command. It just have like your cluster name, your zone, your project, all that. And now if I type let me just, I know, kubectl get node, and it just give us my, oh, taking some time. Oh, it should not take this time, should be quick. But never mind. We just have a two nodes. To confirm if we have a two nodes, I can go there, and you can see I have a default pool, and the pools are used to manage your multi if you have a multiple nodes, right? So from the node, if you have a multiple nodes like more than 100 or something, you can easily manage it through your pool. So inside the pool we have two nodes, right? If you can see, we have a GKE cluster 1, GKE cluster 2. So let's see here, GKE cluster 1 and cluster 2. Okay, so on the node kubectl get pod to see how many pods are being running. So there are no pod. So this is how I tell other to see if you are very new to something. So so you can type help, and so right now at the moment for the so for this I just maximize it, but this is not look like this, right? So you just like have like this. Yeah, but never mind. So you can see a different command. This is used to run the uh, this run a pod. This is the name of the container, has cast, and it just pick up an image and it just run the pod. So for this hands on, because we have a time limitations there, and Zad and Moise recommend me to make this session really for the beginners. So I'm just going to create a engine export, and inside the pod there's one single container is running, right? And then I will expose the pod, the engine export to the whole world, and then I will tell you about some how you can open your pod from Google firewall. This is a third step, right? So step will one will be is to create a pod. So you can see you need to type kubectl run nginx, which is will be the name of your pod or the container, and then the help, and it just give you a lot of commands. But for the moment we need this command, very basic. I don't want to make it complicated. Then we also need one more command, that nginx run on port 80, right? Then we need a pod, we need to see the pod. Here you can see the pod, right? We can just change it, or you can, if you see how many these parameters, it just port image. You can pass environments, dry run it use if you're not sure what you are doing. So you can type dry run, right? Let me show you about the dry run too. So you type dry. I don't need dry run at the moment. Port equal to 80, and you are not sure about dash o yaml. So it should create a, so this create a yaml file, right? So I don't need this. So at the moment, what we are doing, we are creating a pod which have a container nginx, and I just give it an image alpine, which is very light image. So it just quickly pick the image, create an pod in container, and just running the nginx or on the pod 80, and just enter. And let me clear my screen. Kubectl get pod. Now you can see a one nginx container is running, and it just comes up in 6 seconds. So alpine is very light image for the, if you are doing testing, you can use alpine image. Now the second step is to expose this pod, right? Like for this you have expose, and you need to expose what, you need to expose the pod. And what is the name of the pod? The name of the pod is nginx, right? And let's have some help. It just give us some help, right? So you can see the parameters here. These are the only parameter it will spot. So this is a cluster IP. You can just only expose it to the cluster IP, but our type will be not pod, right? So the type will be uh, node port, and port will be 80, and the target target I need to see this parameter, target port. Yeah, here we go. Like this is how you can confirm your parameter. Like you don't need to memorize everything. So what I am doing here, I'm just exposing my pod which I created, which name is nginx, and the type will be not pod. Why not pod? There are multiple types. The one is cluster IP. The cluster IP means your application will only be accessed from your clusters. It just not be available from the internet, right? This is the cluster IP. The second is node pod. Node pod is used for the development. This is not for the production, just keep it in mind. Node pod is just used for the development phase. Just take it example, this tutorial is just for the production, this is not for production, of course. This is for the development, so you can use node pod. What solution now? It just come in your mind that okay, if we are not using node pod, then what should be the preferred way? Load balancer. You need to create a load balancer for your production, but for your development phase you can use nodepod. That's not an issue. So nodepod work like would not work like a load balancer, but it just your application is available on the internet and you can do some perform some testing. And nodepod have some security issues, so it's not highly recommended to use on the production environment, right? So let me see if we has missed anything. So you can also provide protocol, which is UDP or TCP. In our case, we have a TCP, but it will be auto pick. We don't need to provide. So right, all right, we are good. So let me clear my screen and kubectl get svc, which is service, and it just created a one service which is called nginx, and it just have a node port, and the node port IP is 30797, right? Okay, so mm, now I need to. So the we done two steps, but we now we now need to see our we need to get an IP from where we can access this application, right? So this is the cluster IP. This would not be work because this is only access to your cluster. If you access it from here, no, it won't work. This is the internet traffic, right? So how it would be work? Kubectl get node. First of all, we need to see where it just like deployed my my pod. It's just on the kubectl cluster one, right? If you remember, guys, I told you what scheduler do. So scheduler find, I like have a multiple nodes, but for this diagram I have a single pod no node. But for the hands on, I'm using two nodes, right? But it doesn't change anything, right? For example, scheduler will decide this pod should be created on one, it see, or it just have a high priority, node one have a high priority. But you can also change it through node affinity, or you can through taint, you can do this like, okay, I need to install this pod on specific node. So with the Kubernetes taint or node affinity, you can do this. Or you can also in your pod YAML file, you can provide the node name. So whenever the pod will be created, just create it and assign to the node one. So you can do a lot with Kubernetes. But let's get back. Okay, we now it's just on the node one. So dash of white, it just give you more information. So we have a cluster one, and the cluster one have the external IP, right? This is what we need. Oh, sorry, 3481. Okay, this is what we need. Okay, this is the first of all. Let me just minimize it, so make sure I'm just picking up the right external. Okay, so right. Also now I need kubectl get service, and from where I can just easily pick my node port, which is this. But this won't work. This will just give us the time error. The reason is this. What is going here? This is now network policy will help you. you see the user is trying to be in onto the cluster to the load to the application, like it just giving back to the user that, oh, you just hit this URL, which means the nginx is here. But in our case, something is stopping, which is called firewall. So the Google have their own firewall which prevent people not to let them in, right? For this, first of all, the first step need to minimize. The second step is to go to VPC network, in the VPC network then, and right. So in the firewall, you see the different rules are here. You know, you can see the default rules are being created by Google Kubernetes Engine. Or you just go to the firewall and you see this is our cluster GKE1, GKE1, GKE2. So they just have their rules. I mentioned somewhere network policy, this is what it is. And we can create from here, but I don't like doing things from here. Best thing is to do it from command line, right? So I have a command for this, but for this I need to clear my screen. Let me show you guys. Oh, see here. So you see, okay, let me bigger it this one. Okay, so what's going on here? G Cloud, this is the Google. I said you can also manage your Google resources through the API. So G Cloud is the CLI, just like AWS CLI or the other cloud CLI. Might be you can say Git. Oh, so G Cloud Compute, this is the resource, and the resource have this, which is firewall rule, and you are creating is to allow Nginx node port. And here are allowing TCP, and this is our node port, but this is not our node port. Every time node port created and they are randoms, right? So we need to get the node port, right? So let me clear this screen and kubectl get service, but you can short, you can type svc. You can also make it shorter for the exam, 30797. Okay, and just change it. And you can also make it specific, like if you have a specific IP, you can give it so only this machine can access. But we can make since this is a sandbox, and I will remove it so I don't need to be worried. So its description also need to be changed. Good practices these are, right? It's just creating the firewall. Once the firewall is created, it just add to your cluster. And somewhere I said ingress, and ingress which traffic in, and egress which will come is e, which mean the traffic out, outbound traffic, inbound or outbound traffic. Oh, you can see the welcome to nginx. This is very basic, to be honest. Okay, there's a lot of things can be done with the Google Kubernetes. What I highly recommend the resources, if you can ask me from where to get started. There's a this is the same lab on the quick lab, which is also cloud skill boost, but it just require 1 credit to get started. um, Currently we don't have any, anything we can provide you, but you require one credit to do this lab. You can also perform on the quick lab. The same lab might be some with some more information, or might be some missed. You can scan this, guys, if anyone interested. Or if you guys ask me, oh, from where we can get started learning Kubernetes, then I highly recommend Code Cloud. Code Cloud, from where you can learn about the basics of Kubernetes. And the second best option is A Cloud Guru. They have a sandbox. You can learn from their killer coder, which I highly use. And here you have a different scenarios. And like for example, for the CKA, you have a different scenarios. And I to be honest, do on my side. And this is a really great platform. Like you have a different scenarios, like to be, you know, the one I did just for you guys. So you get some different like upgrading the node. So you learn about the Kubernetes. So so also, if you're thinking about learn Kubernetes by doing, so we have there our own tool, which is designed by me and Moise. So you can scan this and just have some basic Kubernetes, like how to deploy an image or how to deploy an application, expose an application, and we just have our interactive sandbox for free. You can learn and give us some feedback. So you can scan this and all good. Thank you. Okay, guys. Okay. All right. We are
This,
good for
this happens.
the.
This happens every time. My mic was muted.
Ah,
I was
you
saying,
need to upload this. Please.
I was saying, thank you so much, Ali, for the amazing session. It was amazingly elaborative, and I hope everyone has learned a lot from this, especially the elaboration for the Google's cloud dashboard and how you can navigate through the terminal and how you can deploy clusters there. And yeah, it was really amazing, and especially the addition of the KubeCamp was really nice. And guys, one thing about the Cube Camp is that when you complete the Cube Camp and fill out the last quiz at the end, after 2 or 3 days, you will receive a very amazing and a very exclusive badge. The first series for the KubeCamp badges were for the simple Kubernetes introduction, and the ones that are gonna be allotted after this session onwards will be related to the GKEs, the Google Kubernetes Engine. So make sure you fill the quiz and fill the exercise in the meantime, so you can win the limited run badges, and all of those badges will be premium re-verifiable on your all your resumes and on your LinkedIn as well, similar to the certificates that you will get for attending this event. And let me just quickly refresh the form. We have got about like 38 responses. That's really nice. And the
Oh,
diversity is really
nice.
important too. And thank you so much for the amazing compliment that you guys have left on the form. And we are for sure gonna
We
bring
can
this
take
session
we
back.
can take some questions. The audience is really nice. I can see, and we can take
Let
some
me see.
questions. Shiriyar and Nice have a one question. What resources or documentation would you recommend for someone who want to continue learning and mastering GKE beyond this beginner
Just
guided
go for
session?
Cube Camp.
So
Always
So,
Cube Camp.
Shreya, no, no, every time boot camp, no, no boot camp. Okay. So, Shreya, I highly recommend because I already answered to this question because a lot of people asked. So, you see, the Kubernetes should be, you have to know about the Kubernetes. Jiki is just like the next version of Kubernetes. So, if you learn about how Kubernetes work, you can do it on, you can do it using kubeadm. You when you created clusters, when you created nodes, when you manage them, when you upgrade them, when you figured out the things, just kubelet just went down, if you just explore it yourself, then you get to know how Kubernetes is working. Once you have expertise with Kubernetes, you can easily work on Google Kubernetes, or either you can work with AWS or Azure AKS. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other question? We can wait for like 2 or 3 minutes more, then we need to wrap up. Oh, that's a tough question, by the way. Okay, so they have their own add-ons, like they have their own security features like firewalls. They have, and mostly inbound network policies are same on most of the cloud. Just you see the difference of UI. So, but most of the cloud provider like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud have the basic features like the Kubernetes have for the security, but you can integrate this, like for AWS you can use Trust Advisor, Guard Duty, but for Google you can use their third party security tools to integrate more security on your Kubernetes, but it's dependent, different with the cloud provider. And you cannot say, oh, Google Cloud is more secure. No, every system is not secure, to be honest. If you do anything from your side, oh voila, it's just like Google or might be AWS, everything will be gone. So The systems are not secure. The public clouds are not secure. If they give you a lot of security, this is cool. But if you just open a port, single port, and the person just in from that port, and everything will be gone. So you need to be, sure. As an AI data searcher, may I have a good opportunities in job market without being expert in cloud related tech? Okay, it's dependent where you are. If you are in the Asia, I can give you the answer to this one. If you are in Europe, I'm just looking for answer to this one too. So, so for Asia, you need to be have expertise to get a job in very short. But I don't know about Europe. Might be Zad can give the best answer to this one. Okay, I think people are confused. So Kubernetes is like a technology. If they adapt by Azure or Google Cloud or AWS, it would not be changed. It will be same. It just, you can say, a next version of Kubernetes, a next version of Azure. So the Azure, the AKS which is using is just open source Kubernetes, and it just like you can say we have a kube ADM and it's just being running on AWS. And AWS just lay off some tasks from you. They just manage your control plane, node, security, and all that, and they just charge you for that. So this is the only change. Other than you need to have expertise on Kubernetes, and from where to get started, kube ADM is the solution. Once you have expertise with kube ADM, you know how networking are working. Then you can easily get started with AKS, EKS, or GKE. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
That was really a good question, but the security really dependent on the cloud providers they are providing. So the answer could be like different. Like, and also don't have, as I said, I'm a DevOps engineer. I don't have a basic information of security, and I might not be give the best answer to this one, but I have a belief. If you answer this question on the LinkedIn, I can just mention him, and he just give you the best answer for that one.
Awesome. Okay. That- Awesome.
Yeah,
Have you
that was
answered,
a cool question, by the way.
have you answered this one?
I answered to this one. I said Zad might be the best guy who can explain about the Europe side, but for
Mm-hmm.
Pakistani or Asia, India, anything, you need to be have experts. Like you need to be a Superman in Asia, not to be an expert. You need to be a Superman here. So
Yeah.
I think one person just Vanny, I think, if I pronounce it correctly, other than sorry. So do we need to know Docker before learning Kubernetes? Yes, you need to
Yeah.
know about Docker because it's a very basics of containerization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pin that comment. Okay. Other can you answer that?
Which one? Yes, I
Do
answer.
you, okay. It was pinned by mistake. Okay. Removing it up. Okay, guys. Amazing. Like I'm reading your feedback on the form. It is really amazing and touching. Thank you so much for the kind words. And do bother Azad to bring us back at GDG Nicosia so we can, share more insights on other Kubernetes powered platforms that are provided by AWS and Azure. Furthermore, we are planning to do other events as well, and we are glad that we can partner up with GDG Nicosia for this event. Thank you so much again to Hassan and Umaima for empowering our reach in the local community and making this event a success. And
Numan has
yeah,
asked a question about does KCD Lahore offer discount voucher? Actually, we don't give discount. Discounts are being from CNCF, so there's a lot of discounts. So you need to check the LinkedIn. So we don't sell or anything on any affiliation with discount vouchers.
yeah. And to be very honest, we are still looking for a discount ourselves to this day. We haven't found any.
Right, right on.
But there is one discount that you can get is the discount that you'll get at the Cube Comes badge. it is it is totally free, and you guys can avail that right now
I
for
can
going to.
I can see that coming. I can see that coming.
You guys just go straight to the cubecamp.kclahore.org and get 100% discount on the badge. It is really amazing, re-verifiable, and almost somewhat equivalent to CK itself. A lot of people are gonna kill me
No,
for
CK
saying
is
that.
a very difficult exam. It just ask you about security, networking, and deployments and all that. So Code Cloud is the best option to get started, and then after doing practice, Codakila is another option. We will share these resources with you guys, and this is it. More questions you can ask on our LinkedIn. You can also drop us a message on our LinkedIn. Adil Shazad, Moiz, and Zad. You can easily find us on LinkedIn.
Also, one thing that Aditya just mentioned regarding the links and the details, you can follow the KC Lahore's LinkedIn page, and there you're gonna find the newsletter, and in that newsletter you will find all the detailed notes of everything that Aditya just explained in fine detail alongside with every command and everything that he has shared. Furthermore, we're gonna add the relevant links to the profile of the people that can go and ask questions and the platform where you can get started, such as the core cloud that I just mentioned, and also KubeCamp as well. So yeah, you guys can take that as reference. And if you guys want to dig deep into the other relevant topics around this, then you can refer to the notes that we have uploaded before, the notes that we are going to upload for this session, right? So there will be all the details that you want, and you guys can refer to that as well. And yeah, if you guys have any question, do drop them in in the section here. Meanwhile, I'm going to manage the form section because we have to close that by the end of this event. Amazing, man. 40 responses so far. That's amazing. All of you are going to get the amazing certificate for this event. And yeah, if you guys have any question, feel free to ask. And there are a lot of thank you messages. You're welcome, and we are glad to host this event for you guys. Thank you so much for the kind word. Thank you so much, Shahyar. Thank you so much, Romal, and thank you so much, Abrar, for the session. And yeah, also feel free to connect with us. And yeah, okay, there is a question: must a software engineer know all the cloud tools and platforms? Adil?
No, no, uh, for the job perspective, you need to be familiar with single cloud technologies, and but if you are very passionate for the cloud, then nobody can stop you. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, guys. So
Let, okay, let's wait for a few minutes. Just round so we can round off the time to 11:20, and then we can wrap up. Also, guys, if you guys haven't noticed, I have just changed my background. This is a new logo for a cube camp. You guys can try it out.
Nice.
Should have started with that. Okay. We're gonna wait for 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna wrap up the session. Thank you so much, Bashir. I hope you have filled the form as well. Everyone who is sending thank you text, so we can appreciate your time and the dedication that you have put forth for this event. Yeah, man, we love the background too. And you know what you're gonna love more than the background
Okay.
is the Cube Camps badge. Okay, okay, we are at the 50 seconds mark. At exactly the end of that, we're gonna wrap up this session, and we will see you soon with another event on another day. Meanwhile, stay tuned on our channels, and you can find a lot more regarding these technologies relevant to the cloud and other platforms. And you can also drop your suggestion for what technology that you guys want to learn, so we can manage those specific speakers and specific sessions for you guys. Again, thank you so much for attending. And there's a link that I've been just attached. You guys can follow that to find more. And again, thank you so much, Zad, for having us, for having me, and having Adil from KC Lahore. And thank you so much for bringing Hassan and Umaima, who enabled us to spread our word in the local community. Okay, this is a very nice question. I'm glad you asked. Okay, so the
Show.
process, yeah,
I say
should,
show them.
okay, yeah, this has to be shown, man. Okay, don't judge my screen. It is super cluttered because I was managing the backstage for the event. So what you have to do is you have to go to this site. Once you are there, it looks really amazing. Thanks to the expertise done by our web development team and Adil, who has prepared the demo section for you guys. You guys can refer to this one, or you guys can just directly go here, get started, or go to the Kubernetes playground. And once you click on that, we'll get teleported to this page. And here, you guys will see this amazing landing page. And on this page, you can just get started. It'll, let me show you. Okay. So, when you get started with this whole thing, the sandbox environment and the whole course, it is going to take you here. It is similar to what you have already seen with the Google's cloud certification preparation exam or the workshops. And similar to that, instead of using a paid version of Quick Lab or something, we are using this thing, the sandbox that we have prepared. It is exactly what you Adil has shown you so far, the thing that on which he has prepared the whole lab for you guys. So you guys can just use that, follow all the steps that we have provided here. And as you are doing this, the progress bar will keep on moving. And at the end of the progress bar, you will get prompted with the updated version of a quiz that you guys can fill. And after that quiz, in about like 2 or 3 days, you guys will get an email for the confirmation that you have successfully completed the whole exercise for the cube camp, and alongside that you will receive your badge as well. And if you guys want to see the reference to that badge, just search Cube Camp by KCD Lahore, and you guys will see a lot of people from all over the world posting those badges so far. And we have, by the way, got about 700 people to complete that course, and about 500 people from mostly Europe and from Latin America who have posted these badges on the LinkedIn profile. Thank you so much. I can feel the sarcasm through the screen. Okay, guys, that was an additional few minutes on top of the 20-minute mark. But thank you so much, Romal, for pointing that out. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the session. And let's just quickly wrap up before I say KubeCam once more. Okay, guys, thank you so much, Adil. Thank you so much, Zad. Thank you so much, everyone who have attended the event so far. Let me just quickly close the form, and then we're gonna wrap up. Okay, the form has been closed, and I'm going to remove everyone from this team. And yeah, okay, bye.
Bye bye.